Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I am Tracy Cram Perkins and our show today is Dementia Home Care. I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio. I am a four-time dementia caregiving survivor and the author of Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. And today we are exploring memory cafes. Joining us are panelist Angela Meyers, who holds a Master's of Library and Information Studies from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Angela is the coordinator of Youth and Inclusive Services for the Bridges Library System in Waukesha, Wisconsin. She also coordinates the Library Memory Project, which is a collaboration of 21 libraries in 2 counties, offering memory cafes for those living with memory loss and their care partners. CATHY TUTTRUP is the director of the Brookfield Public Library in Brookfield, Wisconsin. She has worked with memory cafes and the Library Memory Project in the Bridges Library System for about 8 years. She's a graduate of Valparaiso University and holds a master's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Welcome, Angela and CATHY.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, yes.
I am so excited that you guys are here today. Full disclosure, I actually invited myself out to talk with Angela at their memory cafes in Wisconsin when I was out there last year. And God bless her, it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I've been wanting to bring you on for a while, and I finally am now we're here doing this. So I want to know if, Angela, if you could answer, what is a memory cafe?
Sure. A memory cafe is a social engagement opportunity for persons living with memory loss along with their care partners. So we bring people together at our libraries and we offer different activities and topics for people to come together and just engage with one another and share each other's company. It's a judgment-free zone, and we just want people to have an opportunity to get out of their homes and really reduce that social isolation.
Having seen it firsthand, the activities you guys do are just amazing. So, CATHY, I want to ask you, who attends memory cafes?
So it's people in our community with memory loss and their care partners, but one of the nice things about it, it becomes intergenerational. Some of the people bring their grandchildren or their children with them, or it's friends, or it's just someone who's close to you that wants to have this social engagement with you. Because we're crossing counties, we get people from different communities surrounding our libraries.
So that brings me to another question that either one of you feel free to jump in on this one. I noticed that people were attending multiple cafes, and I noticed that it was a very, very social participation. Can you give me a little background on how that developed?
Sure, I can take this one. So we actually started our memory cafes back in 2015 with just 4 libraries in a small geographic area, thinking that people would consider driving from location to take advantage of these memory cafes. And we have since grown from 4 libraries offering memory cafes to 21. And that crossing counties and crossing different communities to go to different memory cafes continues to today. We actually offer 6 memory cafe opportunities per month within our 2-county region. And we do see a lot of crossover. So we have couples or mother-daughter duos coming to multiple memory cafes because they enjoy the time to get out of the house. It's sort of like an outing. Many of our memory cafes are offered kind of around the lunch hour or before the dinner hour. So we often see people getting together from within our memory cafes to go out for lunch or an early dinner after the memory cafe.
Wow, that is just, I love that part because I was noticing how people were socializing and that they actually got to take time talking to another and make new friends. And I just thought that was really, really cool. So, Kathy, what actually happens at a memory cafe?
So many things. First of all, it's a social opportunity. But what we do is we have some things on the table when people come in. So we've got some puzzles and some fidget things, some coloring sheets, and things just as people are gathering and getting to know each other at their tables. So there's some like chit chat going on and just welcoming comments. And then we normally have an icebreaker type of question that's related to our theme of the day. So it gives everyone a chance to talk about something and something that they want to talk about. So we recently had one about identifying trees and leaves. So our icebreaker was, what's your favorite kind of tree? Or do you like to rake? Or whatever people want to talk about related to that theme. And then we jump into our activity, which might be a speaker, or it might be a craft. So we might paint birdhouses, or we might discuss animals. And usually there's a feature of some tactile feature where there's something to touch, something to see, something to feel, something to smell. And of course, I don't want to forget about how important the snacks are. We always have snacks, and that's an important feature too.
Okay, so when did you first discover you needed snacks? I mean, or was
Right
that
away.
right away?
Right
Okay.
away. The snacks can be kind of fun because you can relate them to the theme. So we did one on the moon landing, celebrating the anniversary of the moon landing. We had Tang and some of the things that they would have had on the flight. So it was fun to connect your snacks to what you're doing with your theme.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. So, how does a memory cafe differ from like an adult day program? You know?
So a memory cafe is really meant for individuals to attend with a family member, a care partner, a friend, whereas a day program might be more of a drop-off of the individual, and then their care partner can take that as a respite opportunity. Whereas memory cafes, like I said, are really meant for the individual and their loved one to attend together. It's really time away from the day-to-day, going to doctor's appointments and worrying about the disease, that sort of thing. So we're hoping that this hour and a half of time that they're together, that they can just kick back and relax and just enjoy the planned activity that we have for them.
All right, that leads me to my next question. So, can you explain to me how the libraries and the memory cafes became connected?
So I had attended a Wisconsin Library Association conference. So that's something that librarians go to for professional development. And one of the sessions that I attended was about offering memory cafes in your community and in particular libraries. So this was an idea that I had taken from a library conference and brought back to this group in our region of Wisconsin and said, hey, what do you think about offering something like this? So we actually loaded up a minivan and took a field trip out to a memory cafe so that we could experience it ourselves firsthand. That's something that we often tell people who are interested in offering a memory cafe or even attending a memory cafe for the first time, is to come and experience it yourself, because it's really hard to explain until you see it yourself. So we loaded up the minivan, we took a little road trip, and the theme was polka. And at first we were all kind of sitting on the sidelines, and the librarian was like, no, we don't do that. You have to come and participate. And so there we were, polka dancing with everybody. And on the way home, on that field trip, all the librarians were like, we have to do this. This is something we need to bring to our community. And, within a half a year or so, we had started up memory cafes. So it has stuck with us for over 10 years now, and we just love offering it. It's definitely the favorite part of my job. I enjoy seeing the joy of the participants at the memory cafes, as well as the librarians. We check ourselves at the door, if you will. So that means we leave all of our worries at the door, and then we're there for the people who are attending.
Oh, that is so cool. So I'm going to talk about the Waukesha Library in particular. I have never seen a library so well geared to accommodate those with memory loss. You guys have such an impressive space. Can you talk about what went into that?
Sure. So the Waukesha Public Library recently underwent a renovation, and with that, they took into consideration different accessibility considerations. So that would be such as, contrast floor colors and accessible restrooms, and making sure that the community room is as close to the front door as possible. Because those who attend our memory cafes are often older adults. Some have mobility concerns. So we want to make sure that when we invite them to our spaces, that they are able to get to the location as easy as possible. This particular location has a partition in their community room. So that means that they can pull that partition and actually have two separate spaces. So in the instance when you visited, you had given a talk, and we had the caregivers on one side, or care partners, and on the other side, we had persons living with memory loss. They're doing an activity with one of our staff members. So that was really great, so that people could feel comforted that their loved one was just on the other side of the partition, and the caregiver could be there for a little bit of continuing education and know that their loved one was there in their space.
So that leads me to the next question is, how did you build your program? I mean, you have so many volunteers now. How did that come about?
I think just the energy around the program, people just seem to love it. People come up to us and tell us they're so grateful that we're offering something like this, or they might say, I wish I had known about this sooner. So I think just hearing that feedback from our patrons has really helped us continue to offer this service. And I think the librarians just love doing it. And I will toss this one over to CATHY, because I think CATHY can speak to this.
And I think when Angela spoke about the first group of libraries that started, and they got started, and the rest of us saw the success of that, and how meaningful it was to the community and the people who were attending. So when the opportunity came for other groups of libraries to join together, we originally had 5 in our group, and we met and we talked about how we wanted to do this for our area of the county. And so that's why we joined in as well. So it kind of spread that way. Someone got us started. We saw the benefits for both ourselves. It's very meaningful for us as well, but also for helping those people in our community and offering this service. So that's why we joined as well.
So how on earth did you guys get 2 county library systems to merge as far as the Memory Cafe program? Because I haven't seen that other places. They seem to be territorial between counties and other areas around the country. And I just find the way that you guys all work together is so impressive. So how did you manage that?
So we actually have a 2 county library system. So we are already joined together, 24 libraries that offer services together. So it was really just pitching this idea to our member libraries in the consortium, basically. And so we didn't really touch on this too much, but our library memory project are actually set up in little pods or projects. So like CATHY was mentioning, her group was originally a group of 5 libraries. So they will host, they take a turn. So 1 month, Brookfield Public Library will host a memory cafe, and then it will go to another library. So it really makes it sustainable for the library, because they're not having to put forth the resources month after month to create a memory cafe and host it. However, we do encourage the libraries to support one another. And we do see that quite often, where one librarian will go to another library to offer support at their memory cafe. So that might mean, helping distribute refreshments, helping a loved one with their craft project, that sort of thing. It's just really nice to have another helping hand in the room.
Oh, that is just so cool. So now I have a question for Kathy. I noticed that sometimes when in other memory cafes that you might have an activity plan and then the conversation takes over as opposed to the activity. What are the dynamics with that?
Well, part of what we're trying to do is have people communicate and share. So if that's what happens, we roll with it. You always have a backup plan. And if the backup plan ends up being that everyone's having a great conversation, who cares if we do the craft? The important thing is that you're here, you're experiencing, you're connecting with other people, the care partners are connecting with each other, and the people with dementia or memory loss are also connecting with us and with their care partners. So it just needs to be one of those fluid things, as with anything. We can have the best laid plans and they don't work, but it's still a success because that's what we do. We can roll with that. And I think, as I said before, the communication and that connection with people is really what this is about. The activity is great. They learn a lot. It's fun, but that's, they're there for the connection.
On that same vein, there are times when you're going to have somebody that's tired, maybe not filling up to snuff, and they get overwhelmed. How do you cope with that? How do you help them?
Well,
so a number of our libraries actually have separate rooms set aside, kind of like a quiet space, and they will make an announcement at the beginning of the memory cafe to let people know, like, we've reserved the room across the hall should you need some quiet space. We also have a lot of fidgets on our tables, so if someone just kind of needs to sit and be, work with themselves to calm down, that is fine as well. We also have our dementia care specialists that attend our memory cafes through our local Aging and Disability Resource Center. So they're also there to offer support if it's needed. But most of all, I think people feel genuinely comfortable coming to memory cafes. And if their loved one is not having a good day, that is okay. They're welcome to work it out right there, or they can step out. Whatever works best for them works for us.
And Kathy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I was going to mention the dementia care specialist, so thanks for mentioning that, Angela. But the other thing I was going to say, as Angela mentioned before, we normally have a number of librarians, either from our library or volunteers or people from other libraries that are there. And so we can go and sit with that person. And maybe they don't want to do what we're doing, but we can color together, or we can just chat about something else, or we can go grab another snack, or we can walk around the room a little bit. So we're cognizant of that, and we can make those arrangements to make everyone feel comfortable.
Oh, that is so cool, because I know from personal experience trying to get, when you've got a group of people together and somebody's having a tough day and that all that noise just upsets them, it's like, and there's no other space for them, you have to leave. I mean, so the fact that you actually have a space set aside for them, it's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So how do you fund your programs?
So our libraries actually build their refreshment budgets and their program supply budgets right into their regular library budget. So this is offered just like any other program that is offered at the library. We also, of course, take donations to help supplement things. We offer something called Family Day twice a year in our communities, and that's offered on the weekend. It's sort of like a memory cafe. It's 3 hours long though. And we have an assortment of different activities that are offered during that period of time. It's offered on a weekend so that the people living with dementia can invite their extended families to attend if they are usually busy during the week. And so for that event, we do utilize donations to make sure that we can offer a very fun, inclusive event on the weekends. But I would say the day-to-day memory cafes are primarily funded through library program budgets. But I'll let Cathy speak to that because she may be able to add a little bit more from a individual library perspective.
We fund it through our regular programming budget. We're fortunate to have a programming budget, but a number of the programs that we offer are very low cost or free in terms of what we're actually doing. I mentioned the moon landing memory program earlier. We just brought out our Life magazines from 1969 and talked about the moon landing and where we were, those of us who were there, and where we saw it, if we were camping, that type of thing. So it was a very low cost program, but it was very effective, and we didn't have to hire a speaker. We didn't have to do anything elaborate. It was just a great opportunity to share.
Oh, that is so cool. So, all right, have you guys heard of timeslips.org?
Yes.
Okay, do you use that in any way where you're like doing a storytelling where everyone participates? Is that something you include in your programs?
We have actually had our dementia care specialists, which I mentioned earlier. They have been trained in time slips. So on occasion, we will have one of our dementia care specialists do a little bit of the time slips work within our memory cafe. But yes, we do definitely solicit feedback from our participants on, what kind of in terms of like telling a story or telling us about their favorite ice cream or their favorite ice cream shop growing up. So those memories from long time ago is really what we try to tap into. And people love that because if they start talking about their favorite ice cream or custard stand, then another person will jump in and say, oh, I used to go there too, or have you ever been to this one? And it really just kind of balloons and bounces off one another.
Oh, that is so cool.
And I think another thing that people really enjoy doing is singing. If we have any program with music or karaoke or a singer leading, we've had it over the holidays, we've had summer songs, we've had songs from the 50s and 60s. People love to sing, and it's just an opportunity to sit in a room with a group of people and sing, and it's very fun. So that's another thing that it's kind of universal. People enjoy doing.
And you don't have to be any good.
No, right. But some people are, and
Yes.
It's amazing when you find some of these people who have these beautiful voices, and then that story comes out. Oh, well, I was in this choir, or I was trained here, and it leads to something else to talk about.
Wow. So do other patrons who don't know what's going on in there kind of sneak in and join the party?
We have had people they try to pop their heads in and they're like, what's going on down here? And it really just shows us how the programs that we're bringing are of value to our community. And oftentimes we do try to do intergenerational programs, meaning that we will invite the local grade school to come over and maybe make holiday cards with our patrons during the memory cafe, or we'll have them come and do a sing-along, that sort of thing. So it's really great for kids to interact with our older adults that are part of the memory cafe. They might not see their grandkids a whole lot. So it's great for them to see little kids and for the little kids to see older adults that may have differences from their grandparents or perhaps are like their grandparents.
Oh, I just think that's wonderful. I think that's something that's kind of missing is that communal aspect, and the fact that you are giving that to them by bringing in the kids from the elementary school and having, whether it's a grandparents' day or whatever the activity is, sing along. It's just wonderful that they're actually getting that connection. So is that something that was part of the program originally, or you stumbled onto it, or how did this grow?
I think it just kind of happens organically at times. Last year we had a really great memory cafe. at the town hall library. They held it outdoors, and they invited their local 4-H group to come in. And so the 4-H group actually received some Dementia Friends training from our dementia care specialists ahead of time to learn a little bit more about what is dementia and what are some easy ways that we can communicate with individuals and help them out. And then the 4-H kids came to our memory cafe and brought their farm animals. And I'm talking calves and horses and bunnies and kittens and dogs and you name it, they brought it. We had our own small petting zoo at the town hall library outdoors. And then we asked the kids to tell us about their animals and how they take care of them and how they get them ready to exhibit them at the fair. And so it gave the kids an opportunity to do some public speaking and also get some feedback from the individuals at the memory cafes to teach us about their animals and how to take care of them. And it really was quite beautiful. None of the attendees knew the kids, but you would never know it. I mean, we all just kind of came together as one big community.
Oh, that is so cool. So what other events have kind of organically spun out like that? I mean, do you have other things that just kind of stand out that people are absolutely loving and asking for again and again, or?
Well, we had one where we did a Oktoberfest event in September, because that's when Oktoberfest happens. And we had the local German club come over from the high school, and they actually did some programming for us, including singing some songs, telling us about the history of Oktoberfest. And then also we did a little bit of a root beer tasting. So blind taste test. I think we did Burke's root beer, A&W, and something else. And so, you go around and you give out these different sample cups of the different root beers and, which one was your favorite, that sort of thing. So just really great intergenerational opportunities there.
Oh, that is so fantastic. So when you are teaching the youth how to interact with somebody that they don't know that has dementia, um, how are they afterwards? Are they like really jazzed about that, about having a positive reaction? I mean, what has happened with that?
I think it just demystifies it a little bit. So if you don't know anybody in your life that is living with memory loss, and then you're put into a room of folks that are, they might be surprised. Because sometimes we don't even know who has memory loss, and we've been working with them for a number of months or a number of years. So I think it just helps ease that anxiety. So, getting the kids to come over and work with our folks that are attending Memory Cafe, I think it just helps kind of destigmatize the disease. And who knows, these kids may go on to, careers that work with individuals with memory loss. You just never know what experience you might be giving those kids.
Oh, that is so amazing.
And I think our library went through dementia-friendly training, and I think the big takeaway from that is you just treat everyone with respect, and you treat everyone with dignity and in a friendly manner, and you can't go wrong with that. And so if the kids learn that, our staff learn that, we learn that, and that's just a good way to live for everyone.
I love that. And I agree. It's how you are influencing people for future generations in this. Which leads me to this next question. When you're doing your dementia-friendly training and you're doing it for people that are not necessarily in the library, but they are, family members or whatever might be coming in as a volunteer, how are you teaching them to avoid reality orientation? Or are you?
Can you explain what reality orientation is? I'm not familiar with that.
I'll take a step back. Okay, I am a caregiver. I am taking care of a family member. I am also grieving the loss because they are starting to forget me, and I want them to come back to me. So I'm constantly correcting them when they say I haven't eaten. I'm hungry, and I said, no, you just ate. We already did that. Why are you asking that question 15 times? I assume that carries through to the cafe, or is that a misnomer on my part?
Yes, I think that does carry over into the cafe. And sometimes if I pick up on that, I might say to the caregiver, you go ahead and start that craft, that birdhouse. I'm going to work with, your wife, Sally, on this coloring sheet because she seems to really be enjoying this right now. And that gives the care partner a little bit of time to do something for themselves and kind of take off that pressure for them. They know that their loved one is in the same room in a safe space. They're interacting with someone else that they trust, they know. And so I think it just kind of helps break that up a little bit. So that's how I kind of deal with it, is I kind of just jump in and offer to work with their loved one if they need just a little bit of respite themselves, but within the same room, of course.
Oh, that is so lovely. It's sometimes as caregivers, we are so stressed, we can't see beyond the tip of our nose. And having someone like you come in and just offer that just little olive branch is so amazing. And I honor you for that because it's a very difficult thing when you are caring for someone that you can't always see how to help them. And what you just demonstrated is absolutely beautiful, Angela. Thank you for that. So, is there anything that you want to like add that we might want to talk about more in depth as far
I
as what
just
you guys do?
I just wanted to add what Angela was saying that about the respite and that. I think another thing that we can do is if the caregiver is having a rough day, we can be there to listen to that as well. And maybe, take have one of our colleagues work with the person with that gives us the opportunity just to kind of listen to that vent or to that frustration, take them to the side or right there and just there's another listening ear right there that we understand, we're empathetic to what you're going through and we're here for you. And this is your space as well. So it's a benefit for everyone.
Mhm. And I would add that we also have our dementia care specialists that are coming from the Aging and Disability Resource Center. And they're there as well to help the caregiver navigate these different changes that their loved one is experiencing and offering different services and different techniques. So they might, ask, would you like a follow-up meeting or phone call? We can kind of talk through some different options for you. Maybe just give them different ideas of how to work with their loved one, do different activities with them, that sort of thing. Because our dementia care specialists are in the room with them, and they can actually provide those services right there, those resources, or they can do a follow-up phone call or meeting. So that's really beneficial, that our participants don't have to call a phone number and wait for a call back, that sort of thing. They're right there in the moment, there to help.
Oh, that is so phenomenal. Okay, that makes me ask another question. You have your dementia care specialist. Do they also refer either the person with memory loss or the caregiver to support groups as well?
Yes. So many of our folks attend support group, and that's often, through the ADRC, Aging and Disability Resource Center, through the Alzheimer's Association. We have another group that meets in our community. I think it's called Coffee and Conversation, and it meets at a local church. And the caregivers meet in one part of the church, and then the persons with go into the sanctuary, and they're doing singing in that room. And it just gives the caregivers an opportunity to talk with one another. And I have made visits to that group just to kind of introduce myself, tell them about memory cafes, just in case they don't know. So I try to make that an annual visit if I can. But it's just another way that, we're trying to reach people, is so perhaps they've started in support groups and then they hear about memory cafes, or vice versa.
And they might have started with a dementia care specialist
Mm-hmm.
with a call, feeling that they have the need happening to them, and the dementia care specialist might recommend they come to a memory cafe. And then when they come to the memory cafe, they have that connection already because they've already talked to the dementia care specialist, and they can say, oh, we just talked last week. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you made it. Here's my friends. And then that starts and you introduce people. So it works that way as well.
So when you're at the memory cafes, do you give people name tags, or how do they navigate that?
So we do name tags with just first names, usually, and we take off our library name tags. So mine just says Kathy, and I'm just Kathy at the Memory Cafe. And we use different colored markers, so they can use whatever color they want, or match it to their outfit if they want to, or whatever works. And so the name tags is something they do right when they walk in, so they know that that's what's going to happen when they first walk in.
So,
yes, and we try to say their name as much as possible, because we find that we learn this in training ourselves, but that people will often talk to the caregiver only and not to the person with. So we will say, Judy, it is so nice to see you here today. We're so glad that you joined us here today at the cafe, Judy, because Judy might not hear her name very much anymore. So we want to make sure that, she's feeling included. We address both caregiver and person with by their names as much as possible. It also helps our other attendees learn each other's names by both addressing them verbally and also having the name tags.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So we have about 3 minutes left. So is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to share?
I would just say, if you know someone in your life that is living with memory loss, to encourage them to look into attending a memory cafe in their community. You can go to Memory Cafe directory online and look up different memory cafes. If your community doesn't have a memory cafe, I would reach out to possibly your local health department and see if they have any ideas. See if your local library might consider offering one. Check with your Alzheimer's Association chapter, those sorts of things. Kathy and I are happy to answer questions to any libraries that are considering offering memory cafes. We've been doing this for a decade now, so we have had lots and lots of experiences, and we'd be happy to share what we've learned along the way.
And I think to that point, it's just been, and Angela mentioned this was one of the favorite parts of her job. And I think we probably didn't realize going in how meaningful it was going to be for us and for our staff to be involved in this program. And I will speak to anyone about that, how important it is and how much it's meant not only to the people attending the cafes, but to those of us who are involved with cafes, and those connections we've made and the friends we've made and the lives we've touched through these programs have been very meaningful.
Oh, that's so cool, you guys. I am so honored that you came on and joined me today, because a lot of people don't know they exist. I did care for 16 years. I had no clue there was a memory cafe until I started getting out in the world after I lost all my family. And what you guys do is just, it's astounding to me.
Well, they only started in the U.S., I want to say, in 2008. So they're still fairly new. It's just that in Wisconsin and also Massachusetts, we're kind of a hotbed for memory cafes. But we're starting to see them grow across the United States. So hopefully in the next 5 or 10 years, we have many, many more memory cafes like ours.
And I think with memory cafes and with libraries in general, libraries are all about sharing. So it's anyone with a library or wanting to start just needs to just ask a library, and we're willing to share whatever information we have. Absolutely.
Ladies, I cannot thank you enough for this. This has been so wonderful. And thank you for being my guest. Do you have any last minute, anything else before we sign off?
Well, we just want to thank you for inviting us on. We're thrilled that we were asked, and we're always more than happy to share what we're doing here at the Library Memory Project, like Kathy said. So please take a moment and visit our website. It's librarymemoryproject.org. We're also on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. Everyone, we will be back on August 19th with Allison Schreier, founder of Thriving with Dementia and co-founder of Zinnia TV, where we'll explore television designed for reducing anxiety and helping with activities of daily living for those living with dementia for the next episode of Dementia Home Care. In the meantime, you can go over to our YouTube channel at USA Global TV and Radio and look for the Dementia Home Care playlist where you'll find all of our past episodes. Thank you to the wonderful Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck for all of her hard work behind the scenes today. And thank you to our sponsors for making this possible. See you next time, everyone. Bye.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio. 5 little-known secrets for dementia caregivers with Tracy Cram Perkins.
Hi there. I am Tracy Cram Perkins, the host of the Dementia Home Care Show here on USA Global TV and Radio. I am also the author of the book of the same name. And you'll see this QR code. This is for an extended version of the same talk. So if you want to see the full hour-long version, feel free to scan the code and go to that website. Stick with me. We'll talk about 5 little-known secrets to make it a little easier to do dementia caregiving. What you're seeing on the left-hand side is a healthy aged brain, age 55 and above. The one you're seeing on the right is an Alzheimer's disease brain. It is in moderate disease. It is shrinking. It has holes in it. The memories that were in those holes no longer exist. When you're learning something, let's say in kindergarten, you learned how to tie your shoelace. Well, then by the time you're in 2nd grade, your brain remembers that information from tying the shoelace and applies it so you can learn more quickly how to tie more complex knots. So the brain is hardwired to do this for us. So it helps us learn faster so it doesn't take us long to acquire knowledge. The brain is looking for the information and they pick the closest to wherever that hole is. Let's look at some tips that we can use to help do that. These are 5 simple tools you can use as a dementia caregiver to help your loved one. The whiteboard is a useful tool in recording the day's activities and the answers to repetitive questions. The calendar clock is a very useful tool to orient your loved one on the day, the date, and the time, and remind them of upcoming appointments. The communication cards are a great tool to bridge the gap when they can no longer tell you what's wrong. And then there's the pill minder, for when your loved one is still able to take pills but needs prompting. The final tool I want to share with you is the memory book. It tells your loved one's story. It's a great tool for distraction, redirection, also as a conversation starter, and telling you where they are in their story so you know how to answer their questions. Music is probably the most powerful tool in your toolbox after laughter. Music is a way to maintain connection. It sticks with your brain longer than any other thing, including reading. When you're having an issue with somebody, you can play their favorite music if you move them to another room, something that makes them happy, or you can start singing songs together from their childhood. These are some of my favorite books for caregivers. My show airs on the 3rd Tuesday of every month, and you can view past episodes on YouTube. Thank you, everyone.
This program has been brought to you in part by Tracy Cram Perkins. Connect with her and order her book at tracycramperkins.com. For more information about Alzheimer's disease, support resources, and how you can help, contact the Alzheimer's Association at 1-800-272-3900 or visit their website at www.alz.org. They offer 24/7 helpline support and a wealth of information to assist you and your loved ones.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.